Okay, we're all done here at Carrow Road. I've managed to give it a second before coming out here to see you all. It finished here. Norwich City 1, Sheffield United 2. Sheffield United putting in an excellent first half performance where they got bodies forward, ran around Norwich, cut through them with ease, and at times probably looked a bit like Barcelona, to be honest, the way they were playing and the support they were getting up front as Norwich toiled and looked sadly tired and tactically tired. Actually, I thought today against Sheffield United, we all know about the effort they put in and had to put in midweek, and sadly this was very similar to the Derby game in terms of, as in the Derby County defeat here following the Arsenal game when they also played extra time in the Carrow Road Cup, in that Norwich, their movement was awful and they didn't move the ball around enough. They didn't have enough support to really do much with it when they got forward, and Sheffield United were playing it around them with ease. So therefore you could put it down to them being tired, but conversely in the second half Norwich were the better side. You know, they made bad decisions and keeper probably only had a couple of saves to make, but you know, they did finish strongly, so while United were sitting in a little bit. So you know, it's a difficult one because maybe once they got into the run of it, Norwich woke up a little bit, and that's why I would really be keen not to pin everything on what happened in Wednesday. Daniel Farke clearly limited in terms of the options he could make and the changes he could enforce, because he's got such a small squad at the moment and couldn't really do much with it in those terms. And Norwich did actually react really well. I mean, they were the better side before Sheffield United scored their second on the counter. A mistake from Tettey and Angus Gunn deciding not to come out. Well, obviously because Clayton Donaldson scored, you're thinking, all right, maybe you should have come out, and you know, it's neither here nor there really now, of course. But Tettey struggled today, and he didn't play 120 minutes on Wednesday. So I think it's a muddling. It clearly didn't help, especially when you're coming up against a Sheffield United side who, regardless of what was said before the game, were extraordinarily up for this game, and for a side that apparently weren't able to do any game management in September, were suddenly able to do it exquisitely well today. So I don't know, it's strange how that worked out, but we did get to see Chris Wilder running towards the away fans and jumping for joy. He clearly enjoyed it very much and said some nice words about Norwich's performance after the game, which is always, of course, easier when you win. But so in terms of those sort of scenarios, I think fair play, because I think there were some excellent blocks as well from Sheffield United, and they worked really hard today, and they've been in a tough run of form, so they'll be delighted that they've managed to win here, and so much so I was half expecting a trophy presentation after the game, but it never happened, so I guess they did just win 3 points. So there we go. As for Norwich, you know, issues going forward quite clearly. They do now have a week to recover before they head to Brentford, who of course won here just before Christmas, and it's a difficult thing because Norwich, I think, took 8 games to win after they lost at Arsenal, and they clearly can't afford a similar run off the back of what happened at Chelsea. They have issues. They don't have enough options at the moment. That is the truth of the matter. They're really pushing Ivo Pinto and Nelson Oliveira, and you know, the right back cover isn't necessarily there really. Although I kind of feel Harrison Reed's going to step in if Ivo gets injured, which might not be ideal unless they can recruit someone. They are going to try and bring in a couple this week. The window's got a week and a half still to go, so I think we'll see bodies coming in, hopefully, but only 2 probably, and then maybe a third one with a view that will actually come in the summer. So it's going to be a difficult little run in. I guess when we strip it back, ultimately today boils down to the fact that Norwich aren't good enough to close the gap on the top 6 again, which is something we have known for weeks. You know, they were being ridden off really from a promotion challenge a few weeks ago, and this kind of point underlined it really. And I think we're going to have to get used to that mediocrity in terms of mid-table championship season that we've probably been suspecting for a little while. Just a word on the referee, Tony Harrington. I thought he was pretty awful today in terms of the strength he showed during the game and actually officiating the game. But you know, there we go. I'd have felt that if Norwich had won 4-0 probably. So that's by the by essentially. And in terms of what Norwich do from here, as I say, a lot's going to come down to the remaining transfer window deals that they will try to make happen, and trying to get back on winning track come Brentford. In terms of the other things out here today, I mean, we had Mario Vrancic coming on. I think Norwich possibly. Just remember before the game actually that Tom Tribble had an excellent game up at Bramall Lane, and they possibly missed someone with that much dynamism who could actually get his elbows out as well. I think Norwich missed that today, and Mario Vrancic did okay when he came on, but again, essentially probably why he didn't start. It wasn't really his game. Josh Murphy struggled to really get in behind, and I think although Norwich they were pretty poor at the back in the opening 20 minutes and went behind really early from a set piece, but in actual fact it was how they really struggled to create any clear-cut openings going forward and get support and runners forward. And I guess what we want to say is that Norwich's tiredness is what caused that ineffective attacking performance, because if it wasn't that, then they've got real issues that they need to eradicate, and they really need to get back to having some of that deep midfield running that Daniel Farke wanted to produce and really struggled to do in the first half of the season. So there we go. Well done, Sheffield United. Cracking performance. They'll take away those 3 points and they'll lap those up especially. It'll get very interesting, I'm sure, over the next few weeks at the top end of the table for Norwich. I don't think they're going to be joining them.